to the Autobahn. Now, a lot of you have been asking about my car. A lot of you may have seen it in the Car Throttle videos, which I'll link to at the end. So let's take a bit of a look. I thought I'd do a nice introduction first. So let's take the wraps off of the beef, which has been sat for too long, in my opinion. Because any time is too long, really. But let's have a look. There you go. End of video. No, not at all. What I want to do is I want to talk you through the car from front to back, all the little tweaks and modifications, familiarise yourself with as it is now, and then as we go on, I'll make some changes. Whatever changes they are, we'll obviously keep you guys updated if you want to be. So please do remember to like and subscribe, and obviously you can keep an eye out on future videos. So starting at the front, there's the gloss black grille, custom daytime running lights surrounds and daytime running lights. And then the custom headlights, there's a bit more to follow on those. Currently running Morimoto by Xenon projectors in there, and blacked out like the Spirit R. If you haven't seen a Spirit R RX8, you should have a look. Absolutely phenomenal car. Sold in Australia, New Zealand and Japan, I think, of all places, up to 2013, because EU doesn't like emissions laws and things. But yeah, check them out. Really expensive, really rare, really cool. Next, the brakes. I get asked a lot about the brakes, so let's take a bit of a closer look. So I want to get started first on the brakes. As you can see, these aren't Mazda standard issue. These are Maserati 6-pots made by Brembo, fitted to the Gran Turismo S. Now, these are 380mm in diameter compared to the 323mm that you find on a normal RX8. I personally love them purely because of the looks when they're not hideously filthy like this one. However, there are conflicting opinions as to whether there's any functional benefit between these or any other big brake kits on the market and the standard RX8 brakes. The standard RX8 brakes are phenomenal pieces of kit, well over spec for a car weighing about 1.4 tons. On a track, you can push the standard brakes and you can lock up semi-slick tyres, no problem at all. The thing that I personally really like the big brakes for is pedal feel. I can hold tyres, or at least in my limited experience, I can hold tyres at the limit of adhesion much better because there's just that little bit more feel. So I can hold it just before the ABS wants to kick in more frequently and at a higher brake force, generally, compared to the standard ones. And they look amazing. But yes, so that's just kind of my personal take on it. I wouldn't recommend these particular brakes, mainly because the discs are made by Scuderia Ferrari, and that's the only place you can get them, and that makes them very expensive, like £1,800 a pair. Expensive. Yeah, you could buy a whole BBK for that. Brand new calipers, discs, pads, the whole lot. But look at that. And they've got Brembo written on them, and that makes it worthwhile, apparently. So yeah, when the brakes do finally go, I've got another set of discs, so that should hold me for now, but when they do finally go, thinking time is upon us. Then as we go back, a few little cosmetic tweaks. Pro Drive Edition PZ mirrors made by Hager, same as the M336. I want to say I'm going to go with it. Going further back, right about here, you can't see it because it's on the other side of the car, is a lovely dent from a track day. We won't talk about that. Maybe on another one, if I can bring myself to. You may notice there's a little difference between front and back here, so we'll take a bit of a closer look right now. So now we're back at the business end of the car. What is it, the business end? The engine's at the front. But either way, it's rear wheel drive and the noise comes from this end, so it's my favourite. I mentioned that we'd take a bit of a closer look at these. These are the new track wheels, which I've bought for this year. These are from a Mazda 3 NPS. Now, to the untrained eye, they do look very, very similar to the R3 wheels, which are at the front. So, cue panning shot for you to see what they look like. And you're back in the room. These are very, very similar, as I said, but they're 18-inch in diameter. They're also only 7.5J width rather than 8J, which the R3 wheels are. Now, a lot of people are probably screaming at it, going, why do better, have bigger tyres? However, because these are track wheels, what I really wanted to try and do is shrink down the profile to a good balance. Now, the stock R3, RX8 and standard RX8 tyre width is only 225. So these will happily run 225, that's what's on them at the moment. But what I can do is I can run 225/40 R18s. Now compared to the 255/35 R19s that I'm running on the R3 wheels, that means that it actually reduces the rolling diameter by quite a lot. Rolling circumference, the diameter of the overall tyre. The resultant of that means even worse fuel economy, which is obviously the main reason that I'm doing it. However, what it also means, which is much more beneficial and more enjoyable, is that it basically effectively reduces the final drive ratio of the gearbox. So for those who aren't familiar, you've got a gearbox. Gearboxes have gear ratios in, which turns the RPM of the engine into a different RPM of the prop shaft, and I appreciate this looks like a very phallic symbol, so you're welcome. In doing so, that then runs into the diff, which is in the middle of this axle here, and the diff has another ratio in it. In the R3 it's a 4.77 ratio, in the Series 1 RX8 it's a 4.4 ratio. General rule of thumb, the higher the ratio of the rear diff, the faster the engine will spin relative to the wheels. So 1 RPM of the wheels translates into, in the R3, 4.77 revolutions of the prop shaft. Now, you may wonder why you would want to reduce the number of rotations, because more rotations per rotation of the prop shaft means more speed. The inverse is true for accelerative force reaching the wheels. Now, there's going to be a lot of very, very clever people who are going to lambast me in the comments for exactly what I've said there, because I do appreciate mathematically that's not 100% right. So please do correct me. There's a fantastic set of videos out there from Engineering Explained on torque, wheel torque, and how that all calculates. I'm not a mathematician, I'm very layman. However, what that means for the general driving feel is it means that when I put my foot down, it feels more responsive. In doing so, the top speed will be lower, which is laughable because I think the gear ratio of this and the RPM limit means I could, in theory, do 210 miles an hour. Not that I'm about to be able to. However, what it does mean is that at 70 miles an hour, I'll actually be doing about 62, or at least 70 miles an hour on the speed, I'll be doing 62. What that means is that when you're on track rifling through the gears, it just feels a bit snappier and in theory should accelerate that little bit quicker. The decrease in rolling circumference of these tyres and wheels compared to the standard mean that it goes from 4.77 to about 4.9. Again, not huge difference in terms of numbers, but it is quite noticeable in feel. And also having smaller, thinner, lighter wheels will also mean a bit of a reduction in unsprung mass, which should make it that a little bit nippier again. If you want me to go through unsprung mass and the effects and everything in a bit more detail than I can do, it's not my strong suit, as I said, but I can take a few references from other videos and bang those together for you, if you just love the sound of my voice. Brakes wise, we're running standard rotors, pads and calipers at the back. Well, I say standard pads, I think these are actually Brembo ones, but OEM spec basically. There's no real need to upgrade the rear brakes. They're 303mm, which is actually bigger than most front brakes on most cars these days. And it's also running vented discs at the back as well. I've never really had any overheating problems or anything at the back. While we are actually close up, I will also go into about here somewhere. There is the suspension. The R3 comes with Bilstein dampers. This is running eye-back lowering springs as well, so it's nice and firm. I find it quite a nice balance between the two, if I'm honest. Its only downside, as you'll have seen in the panning shots and stuff, I've put it on a couple of bits of floorboard. I looked at them off camera over there just then, and that's because my jack is too chunky to fit under the car because it's lowered. Race car problems. So I've talked you through the brakes, I've talked you through the gearbox, I've talked you through the wheels, I've talked you through all the fun stuff. Now let's look at what makes the noise happen. To be fair, there are some changes afoot, but running under here somewhere is a Cobra catback. Stainless steel, really, really nice sound, really nice thrummy, sort of throaty kind of noise. A bit different from the one that you may have seen in the Car Throttle videos. Had a bit of a change around since then, since I've maybe got sent home from Castle Coombe because it was too loud. Just a little bit too loud. I set the static noise test limiter off on drive-by from quite a little way away. But we won't talk about that right now because I fixed it, so it's fine. Obviously piston head sticker, don't tell the guys at Car Throttle about that. This little bad boy here, many downforces, all the downforces, and at least 10 brake horsepower. much like the sticker. Stickers add 10 brake horsepower. Insurers know that, that's why they charge you more for them. Custom tail lights. Now, there are some other videos on this channel and another channel of the prototypes that I did for these. They are de-chromed internals. There's a few halos for the internals, for the tails, for the indicators and reverse light. So yeah, that's basically all for Frank at the moment. I appreciate obviously everybody who subscribes to the channel so far. If you found your way to this video without having subscribed already, then thank you very much for watching. Please obviously do like and subscribe if you want to see more about Frank, you want to see more about me, don't know why you'd want to do that, or any of those other beautiful things. There will be some more modifications in the future. There's going to be some track shenanigans at Cadwell Park, and obviously the big one, which is today, or release day, or the 30th of January 2020, depending if you're watching it on release day or not, which is the centenary of Mazda. 100 years, 1920 they formed, and if it wasn't for Mazda and maybe a little bit of Ford influence, we wouldn't have the RX8, we wouldn't have the rotary engine delivered to the masses. Obviously NSU were the first to really bring out a mainstream car for it, and I'm eternally grateful because, as you've heard on some of the clips that I've played you so far, it sounds like nothing else. And if you haven't driven one, please do. If you do find yourself at Cadwell Park on the 3rd of March, which is a Monday, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to take people out for a spin, show you what it's really about, and really talk to you about why I love the car. I mean, I can't shut up about it. So, you know, as you've found over the past however many minutes this video is, I just absolutely love it and I can't get enough. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Like, subscribe, again, do it. Tell all your friends and all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, here are some fantastic drive-by shots, some lovely noise, and maybe a bit of music, just to sort of see you through the day. So thanks very much, and we'll see you again soon. Peace out.